Up. welcome to the Kevin White Show or the American Allegiance, whatever it is you want to call it. Also, uh, welcome. Our radio link isn't working tonight. My producer is off. That's a good line to say, Peter. Producer's off. We used to have full-time producers, but we don't anymore. We need to get another one. I'm trying to get somebody on to do that. But anyway, welcome to the show. And guess what? Tonight we have Peter Serafini. He's plugging his new book. It's out right now. It's called Trust Shatter. Go ahead, Peter. Talk about it.
Hey, yeah, sure. Well, thanks for having me back. I mean, you had
Welcome.
me on when the book was still in the whole pre-order stage.
Right.
So coming back now that it's available in ebook and audiobook and paperback and hardcover, that makes it a lot easier. Most people don't want to buy a book that they have to, they're not going to get for over a month. Well, it's there now. You can actually get it at Barnes and Noble or Amazon or Books a Million or wherever you want to get it. You can get it. Trust Shatter.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Tell us what it's about. What's this book about?
It's about it's 45 examples of how government not only failed to protect our rights as the Constitution, as the Declaration of Independence instructs government, but actually became the active attacker of our rights. It's 45 examples, 45 admitted examples where government crossed that line, shattered the trust of of the people of this country, and we keep letting them do stuff. Like I don't understand. Our government's gotten so big and they're involved in so much of everything. I don't understand how anybody can ever trust our government if they know anything about history. And that's why I wrote the book, Trust Shattered. If you know these 45 stories, you can't possibly trust government anymore. So that's why I put them all together in one book so that hopefully more people.
Could you give us a sample or some kind of go over it lightly of what you're talking about?
Oh, sure. Well, it's in 3 parts and they're divided into parts based on John Locke's life, liberty, and property. So there's Betrayed Bodies, which is all about the government, shattering that trust that we give them in our lives. And then Betrayed Liberties, which is just what it sounds like. It's where the government stomped on our own liberties. And then Betrayed Estates, which is about property and how government is really not your friend as far as being a property owner. In each, let's start with part 1, Betrayed Bodies. Probably the most famous example in there is the Tuskegee syphilis experiments.
Right.
600 guys from Tuskegee, Alabama, that were studied for syphilis, even though 10 years after the study started, it became common knowledge that penicillin cured syphilis. But none of those 600 guys were given that penicillin. Instead, we studied them for 40 more years. That's a problem.
Is this why they made them their own squadron? Does this have anything to do with this? I mean, is it a gift?
The airmen.
Oh, the airmen.
No, I didn't make that connection. Maybe.
Okay.
It may have been kind of an honor. No, you know what? No, the Tuskegee Airmen was during World War II, and the atrocities of the Tuskegee syphilis experiments weren't common knowledge yet. They didn't come out for 30 years afterward. It was the 1970s before the government admitted it that it happened. So must have been a separate reason. By the way, I volunteer on honor guards, and I have had the honor and the privilege, the sad honor and privilege of burying American veterans in several of our states. And I had the honor of burying one of the last surviving Tuskegee airmen when
really?
Yeah, that was quite the funeral.
Wow.
So that's probably the most famous example from part 1, Betrayed Bodies. I would think, personally, I think the most egregious of the examples is the San Francisco biological warfare experiments, where the U.S. military sprayed supposedly harmless and benign bacteria over the citizens of San Francisco just to see how they spread. 750,000 people lived in San Francisco at the time, and the
Yeah.
government, the military in particular, decided, hey, if there's a biological warfare thing, how's the bacteria going to get around in the population? And they did this experiment, of course, without telling the 750,000 people that lived in San Francisco. That's probably
Of course.
probably the most egregious of the.
Wow. So, all right. So where can we get this book?
Well, anywhere you buy books.
I put the little thing up there. You see that? You
I
got it?
do. I
Okay.
appreciate that. Follow me. Yeah, you know your thing on there says follow author Peter Serafine on or check him out on Amazon. There's a follow a button on Amazon. You know, I've got an author
Oh,
page, and you
okay.
can follow authors, and then you'll find out, you know, if the next time we have a new release or something like that. This is my
Yeah.
fourth book, and I think it's my best book. You know, my second one, So Simple Even a Politician Can Understand. It was given an award as being one of the listed as one of the best politician books of all time. But I really think that Trust Shattered is a better book.
I think so. I think
And
so.
I
I've read
think
it.
it's a book that crosses the political divide. You know, you and I, we've got pretty similar views of
Mhm.
government. So I
Right.
expect you to appreciate my book. But I wrote it in such a way that I want you to be able to hand it to like your most progressive sister-in-law or cousin or friend or coworker, and I want them to be able to read it without getting their feathers in a ruffle and getting all offended. I wrote it so that they would be able to read it, and maybe they still won't agree with you and I, but after they read it, hopefully they'll at least understand where you and I are coming from. They'll
Right.
understand why we have this skepticism of giving government all of this power to do all of these things.
Absolutely. So, Mr. Serafine, thank you for that. You know, next week you can come on. We can even do little snippets here and there. So, I'd like to promote this because this is stuff most people don't know about.
See, and it
So,
was all that's the funny thing is when I went to write it, it was all stuff I really knew. Like
yeah.
I knew most of these stories. I found a couple new ones in my
Mhm.
research, but most of them I already knew. And I think that it's it's things that the general public should know. Well, somebody, one of the people who reviewed the book on Amazon, which
Mhm.
you did, thank you very much. But
Okay.
somebody else who did that,
You're going to get another one from Cord Palmer when he comes on.
somebody else who reviewed it on Amazon said it should be required reading in junior high, every school in this country. And as
Right.
much as I would love that, as you know, the guy selling the book, I really think that the stories in here, whether you buy my book or whether they're put into a textbook, are things that should be required reading, at least through high school. Like,
See, and my only comment on this is this: if we don't learn what we did in the past, we'll repeat it. This is like getting more apparent. You know what's going to happen
yeah,
in the future when people don't know what happened in the past. Then that's a dangerous thing
right,
if you don't have that knowledge.
right. Like all of these people that are pushing for universal health care, the government should run our medical insurance. Okay.
Okay, I'm going to bring Cord in on this one. Okay, okay. Hey, let's talk about the VA. Let's not hate about
Ooh,
it.
let's
We're
talk
all
about
veterans
the
here.
Yeah,
VA.
I was at a VA hospital today. Have you?
Yeah.
Oh, were you?
You want to shoot somebody?
So, yeah, what's your thought? Government versus private, Mr. Palmer. What are your thoughts on that?
Hey man, the greatest president of my life which is why I'm so proud to be a Marine during his time, was Ronald Reagan. You know,
Mhm.
what was his famous saying? You know, hey, we're from the government, we're here to help you. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, jumping off that.
7 scariest words in the English language.
Exactly. You know, so
Yeah.
I'm the VA. Whew, That's a whole show in its own.
Yes, we need to do that. We need to get some more veterans on and do this
Holy
show.
crap, man! I mean, the VA is a booger bear, to say the least. You know, and the VA is another bloated, overfunded waste of taxpayers' money. You know, it goes back to I don't even know when the VA was founded. You know, I know they probably started off noble until, again, they came in and said these famous, 9 words. Hey, we're from the government. We're here to help you. You know,
are you suggesting that a government program could start out with like noble purpose and then turn into some god awful monstrosity?
Can we talk about Social Security for a moment?
Sure. Yeah, let's do it.
Like that there,
Yeah, right.
That started out as a post-World War II fix, and now it's just gone, so, yeah. But
go ahead.
More specifically, the VA, I can't say anything good about them. I mean, they've gotten better. They have gotten better.
They really have.
Especially, I transferred from Atlanta, Georgia, where I'm surprised there's not more postal things going on at the VA in Atlanta, to Tennessee. But here in Tennessee, I've gotten pretty much, straightforward help and whatnot. Yeah. And, I was a part of that Camp Lejeune. I am a part of that Camp Lejeune.
Okay. All right.
Study, and come to find out, they don't even want to talk to you unless you already have cancer. All those lawyers, hey, were you part of the Camp Lejeune water study? Yes, I was. Yes, I am. But hey, do you have melanoma? Hey, you got a third leg growing? Hey, you got anything else? I'm like, no, I don't. Well, we can't do nothing with you. Bye. So there's that. You know what I mean? So even when they say they can help you, they can't. So and this is, trust me, these guys are after vets like ambulance chasers. Looking for guys. Like, hey, were you at Camp Lejeune? What time were you there? When were you there? Has anybody died? And I'm like, well, no, it was just me. Well, hey, do you have any kind of, do you have cancer of any type? I'm like, no, not that I know of yet. But
right.
Well, when you get it,
okay, you worried out of me, you might give it to me. So yeah.
Call us back when you get it. Yeah, I like it.
Exactly. By that time, the window will be closed. So
denied. You put in this stuff, denied, not service connected. Then you got to send more information, and then
exactly. Meanwhile, I got 6 or 7 friends, real talk, who were in when I were in, who were in when I was in. One was in the Navy, one was in the Army. These guys are at 100%, and there ain't nothing wrong with them. Nothing. I'm like, dude, what did you say? Who did you have to, but what did you do? It's like, dude, one guy just basically said, hey, I went in and I felt threatened. I'm like, really? This is the Army guy. Now, the other guy who gets 100% was a Navy cook. And I'm like, bro.
Yeah, I was a Navy cook.
No.
Well, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Hell, if I didn't know how many days y'all got off versus when y'all worked, I probably would have been one too.
That old 5 and 2.
Okay. So you guys y'all kept us well fed. But
oh my goodness.
He gets 100%. Meanwhile, I'm struggling over here, So, hey man, get you an advocate. And every person they give me is basically like, well, you need to prove this and you need to prove that. And I'm like, dude, I was there. Well, what's in your medical record? Well, pretty much nothing, because I tried to stay away from BAS. Right. You know what I'm saying? So,
So I'm at 90%.
I'm like, but dude, now I really do hear ringing in my ears. There's stuff that that they can't prove. I mean, you can't say that I don't have right now. I'm like, hell, I went into the Marine Corps flat-footed. I'm like, I should have never been let in.
Right.
I got tinnitus now. You know what I'm saying? I have got apnea. Not result because I'm fat, but I mean, I've always had apnea. So yeah, there was that.
Right.
I've gone through that whole battery with them in Atlanta. And it was like deny. So, now I'm like, really? I can't even get 10%? I can't get nothing? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it just.
You have tinnitus, right?
I do.
You should have it.
I took I went to an audiologist, and Kevin, I purposely failed it. I mean, I can hear this thing just, yeah. I'm like, can you hear that? Nope. I can't hear it. Nope. Yeah. Nope. I don't hear nothing.
Oh,
It's like, nope. He can't.
wait a minute. No.
So yeah, man. At that point, I'm like, what can I do?
There's a letter out there that
I had a completely opposite experience. So I hurt my knee when I was in the Navy. Clear documentation, had knee surgery while in the Navy.
Okay.
I get out of the Navy.
You can ride that to 100. You can ride that to 100%.
But I get out of the Navy. A couple of years later, I'm like, man, this knee really kind of hurts every now and then. I should probably tell the VA. So I go to the VA and I say, hey, here's my medical record from when I was in the service. It's starting to bother me a little bit. They're like, okay, we'll give you 10%. So I get 10%. A couple more years goes by. I'm like, it really freaking bothers me. Can you fix it now? Like, okay. So they do an exploratory surgery, which they don't even do anymore. Now they've got MRIs and CAT scans and all that kind of stuff. So on the x-ray, there's this thing like in the middle of my knee. And they're like, well, we don't know what that is. Can we go in and look? I'm like, if it'll fix me, go for it.
Yeah.
So they go into my knee, they look for this thing, they can't find it, and they're like, okay, we're done. So they do nothing. They do an orthoscopic surgery. They do nothing. And then the VA drops me back down to 0%. I'm like, oh, wait a minute.
It cut you off?
So they still admitted, service connection, but zero.
Right.
But I hit I did an appeal. I'm like, look at the surgical notes. You didn't do anything. You didn't fix the problem.
Right.
So the appeals come back and they give me 30%. I'm like, all right. Well, I'm not going to say another word ever.
Yeah.
So that was like 20 years ago, and I've been coasting along at that 30%. But I have other people that are like, oh no, you've had 5 surgeries now. You should be at 100. I'm like, but I can still work.
I'm like, well, what kind of crossroads meeting of the devil do I need to do to meet this magical person that's going to get me to this 100%? You know what I mean? So I don't even care about 100. How about 50? I'll take 50. I ain't greedy.
I can get you to 10% with your tinnitus.
Let me get my toe in the dough. All right. Let me get my toe in the dough.
Once you get in there, it's easier. I have another author friend who was at 10%. Now he's at 80% because I said, you just keep submitting, submit over and over and over with the Nexus letter of somebody, one of your relatives saying, he's got this problem or something. And there for tinnitus, there's a piece of paper the VA has that shows all the AFSCs and MOSs that get tinnitus. That's what I had to say.
I was in artillery, so communication, all right? So yes, I qualify for some type of, something.
No.
Yeah,
I would never have ear problems.
Oh no, not at all. Not at all. All I heard was booms every day. For 6 years. So yeah.
I was around jet engines every day. So
there you go. There you go.
But you can just being like the water. There's other things you have like the PACT Act. You can do that right now with. Have you been to burn pit places? Did you ever go?
No, that was mostly over there in the sand pit. I got out Desert Shield.
Yeah, that's where they are.
Yeah, I got out before, they started playing with those people who can't wait to die. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I got out in 91. So,
That's when I went in.
Okay. I went in 84, got out in 91. I did get to go play with Noriega, kind of good stuff. But
Panama.
Yes, Panama.
Been there. What a crazy place that was. The stuff that went on there, I would never understand.
Right. And my job was just to guard the airfield. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I did get dinged, but I'm like, I don't even consider that a service connected wound because it was just a scrape across the knee. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, okay. But here's what I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna put you down because I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm going home. So I'm sorry, whoever you are shooting at me, I gotta put you away. I'm sorry. My bad. not bad. So yeah. But as far as anything else goes, I mean, it's been one rejection after another with the VA. Go back to your topic, Kevin. I mean, they're really a sort. I mean, they're just some people have great. I mean, like like what Peter said. Hey, you just told them. It's like, okay, let's get you 10%. But normally with me, I'm like, dude, I was in artillery for 6 years and comm for 6. That was my MOS, communications.
Yeah.
So I'm listening to white noise all the time, along with boom, boom, booming. You know what I mean? You telling me that I can't get tinnitus now?
Well, you don't have to have hearing loss with tinnitus. That's not the case.
No, I mean, but you can't prove that I have ringing in my ears or not. You know what I mean? So, and my MOS, both, well, my initial MOS and the one who I was attached to were booming every day. So, yeah.
Write that down and send it to the VA with your request. Have somebody else, if you're married, have your wife do the same thing too. A letter. That works a lot. That goes a long way. And you might have better luck in Tennessee. Who knows?
Hey, everybody right now is talking about, hey man, you gotta call this advocate right here. You gotta use this advocate right here. I'm like, I ain't got a problem using any advocate as long as they're not trying to charge me more than what I could possibly get from the VA first. You know what I'm saying? Well, we're going to charge you 80 times what your percentage is. I'm like, dude, that's nothing.
No. So yeah, right. But here's the thing: you can get an advocate that works on a base. Those guys, they're like promising people 100%.
I don't need anybody to promise me anything.
I know, but they're going to help you get that done. I went to the American Legion for mine, and they did an excellent job. I'm at 90 right now. I started at 10, 30. The reason I did it.
Yeah.
The reason I did it, no, it's not good. Not good.
Just rub it in, Kev. I mean, come on.
Yeah, but I've got things. I got asthma. I'm working on an asthma thing because of the burn pits, and also they messed me up when I was getting treatment done for my knees. So I lost all my potassium. I had so many things happen to me because of the medical doctors in the military, and not the VA, the military doctors. So.
Well, you want to hear a horror story, bruh? I can give you one. I mean,
yeah.
Back when I was in, if you still had wisdom teeth and they knew it, they were coming out. And they were coming out to normally gold bar first year out of med school Navy guys who were just snatching teeth. That was their job. It was like, hey, you still got your wisdom. Oh, Corporal Palmer, hey, report to dental. They snatched 4 of my wisdom teeth. Well, 3 of them, because at the 4th one, I was like, dude, I'll kill you. But they snatched 3 of them. And on the 3rd one, it was like, oh, snap. When he said, oh, snap, I'm like, what do you mean, oh, snap? It's like, I can see your nerve. I'm like, yes, I'm quite sure you can, because you've been standing on them for the last hour and a half. He's like, hey, can I go show my compadre? Can I go show my patron? I'm like, oh, I don't know, because I can't do that. Yeah, go ahead. He's like, look at this. It's like, that's his nerve. I'm like, yeah, that's my nerve, and of course, back to the field in 3 days as a Marine. So, yeah.
Oh man,
There's 800 milligrams
with cotton and keep it moving, Jarhead. So those were my times.
Wow.
Here's 800 milligrams of ibuprofen. Get to it.
That was it too. I mean, that was long before the perks, long before hydros, any of that. It was like, hey, we're gonna get some baby aspirin. Tell you to keep it kicking.
We got Motrin in the Air Force. That's all they had, or some kind of weird. They had some weird thing that's all they prescribed. So the worst thing ever was the hospital at Wright-Patterson. I work there on the base now. I don't go there.
They probably gave you the English name for it. What they call everything in England? Paracetamol, whatever that crap is.
I don't remember.
Paracetamol. I'm like, dude, that's just aspirin. It's like how the British say aluminium. I'm like, it's aluminum.
Oh, right.
All this stuff in the stuff.
Yeah, right. Aluminium. So yeah, I had rooster shots in my knees. One time I went in there was like 5 people. There's 5 seats, bunch of people in line. They gave everybody a shot. One guy gave the cold. The other. It was like a factory line, and there was blood all over the floor.
Kevin.
What in the world?
Kevin.
Yeah.
Kevin, in 1984, July of 1984, it was about 107 degrees at 1 a.m. in Parris Island, South Carolina.
Uh-huh.
You know what we went through? There were 8 corpsmen, 4 on each side of us.
Uh-huh.
And you walk down the middle getting shot. Pow, 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 pow. And then the guy at the end had that big old penicillin shot that was going in your butt. You know what I mean? And yeah, I've never seen so many grown men faint, cry
Really?
in my life. You know what I mean? And then, hey, once they blow your butt up with that penicillin shot, they make you sit down Indian style and just rock it out. Just rock it out. Just rock it out. Get the medicine moving. Get the medicine moving. Dude, I mean, I'm not the first jarhead to go through Parris Island, and certainly I'm standing on the shoulders of some really, really great men. But during that time, I can only imagine what it was like in the 70s and before. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, there were guys that was just, I'm like, bruh, suck it up, man. Fortunately for me, I had cousins and friends who had gone in before. They was like, man, shave your head, keep your mouth shut, keep your head low. Don't say nothing. You'll be all right. You know what I mean? You'll be all right. So yeah, for me, I mean, there were guys that were literally doing ridiculous things to try to get out of boot camp. But that's a whole other story. So
Peter, I'm addressing you on this. Peter,
try to figure out what all they shot in your arms back then.
Thank you. I mean, hell, and that's not even that was just boot camp. Now, once I got into the fleet, we started going to places like Africa. Oh, that yellow fever shot.
Malaria.
Pimping.
Hey, so listen to this. They did that in the 70s when my dad was in. We went through the same line as kids. I'm serious. That's an atrocity, Peter.
That's not funny, but damn.
I know. If you move, your arm's going to split. Every shot they gave for you guys or for us in the military, they gave to the kids. We were going overseas, and they gave it everything. And there's just a line of a bunch of people. I was shocked. It was like, so now I think back about it. Why in the world would they treat the kids like that?
What were they putting in you? You know what I'm saying? So
it was like 6 or 7 stations. You just walk, next one, walk, next one, walk. My arm still has the marks.
All they tell you is don't flinch. What do you mean don't flinch? You got to do something. You know what I mean? So you tell them as a kid, I'm going to flinch. You know what I'm saying? Since you said don't flinch. So
add that to your new book, Peter.
You bring back the memory. The guy in front of me, he twitched a little bit when they shot him with that air gun, and it cut him. He had like a half-inch long cut in his shoulder where they because he twitched a little.
Right.
But I don't know why. But you're talking about going down the line and getting shot in both arms. Maybe for some reason that made me think of the gas chamber.
It might as well have been when I was a kid.
Keep your arms up. Keep your arms up. Don't touch nothing. Hey, don't touch your face. Don't touch your face. So
in the Navy, you're in there and you're in rows. I don't know, 8 or 10 guys in a row, and one row at a time. They made you take your mask off.
Yeah.
And then individually, you had to go out, salute and ask permission to leave the room. And then when we all got out, there were 2 guys in my basic training, two guys in my boot camp company who thought they wanted to be SEALs. So it was like, hey, you two, back in there.
Come back through.
Do some push-ups.
Yes. That was, hey, Peter, that was my experience, period. You know what I'm saying? I mean, at Parris Island, they made us, first of all, we didn't know. They made everybody shave, even if you didn't have hair. It was like, hey, shave your face, scrape it. Want them pores wide open. We didn't know any better. So we did.
That's so that the mask will seal.
Oh, yeah. Everything inside the mask was cool, but your face is burning out here. Oh, yeah, and then they say, hey, break your seal. Not only do you break your seal as jarhead, you got to do some up downs. You know what I'm saying? You got to do some up down. Get the heart going. So they're going to make you take a full sip of some CS gas, and then after that, that's when you turn to the right, hold your hand out, and then of course you got the 4-foot snot hanging out your nose as you run into a pine tree that is purposely grown there for that reason.
Oh. That's hilarious.
fun times at Paris Island. You know, so,
Oh, I bet. Hey, we got Gary on the line. Gary, if you want to say anything, go right ahead. Maybe not. Yeah, fun times. Yeah, that chemical warfare stuff was no joke. No joke.
Wearing Mop 4, period, was no joke,
Yes,
especially in the
Mop 4.
summertime. You know, Mop level
Right.
4, you got a charcoal suit, wool charcoal suit on. It's 108 at Fort Bragg, and now you know your captain's like, "Hey, we need to practice some Mop 4. We need to practice some NBC." You know, I'm like, really?
Yeah,
right now? You know, yeah. I mean, you would lose at least 15 pounds of water weight immediately. You know what I mean? And then you got to go around the whole day with your mask on. See, and now what I see is they've upgraded gas masks since I've been out. I've seen a newer version with the single cylinder cans on the side. Yeah. So we had those little charcoal chumpies on the side.
Yeah, we had that. It
was all rubber, you know. It was all just, you know, all in your face. Yeah, we don't care about. Hey, if you can't see, don't worry about it. Don't break your seal, you know. So yeah, just follow your.
I was a dependent at Fort Bragg.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll tell you, because I was in artillery, we spent more time. I was stationed in Jacksonville, Camp Lejeune. Mm-hmm. We spent more time at Fort Bragg than soldiers at Fort Bragg. I mean, because we went to Fort Bragg every month or every other month just because they had the bigger ranges and stuff like that. So
yeah.
You know, I got to know Southern Pines and Victory Drive very, very well. You know, so I can tell you some horror stories.
Shameless.
Hey, Peter, you're not off the hook either. You guys, we call y'all our Uber drivers now, but your guys played the games back in the day. Oh, the blue nose and then the shell backing. Yes. Part of that Legion.
You know, I never got any of that crap. I was on a training ship that went out for like 2 weeks at a time and came back all the time. We got like within an hour of the equator once. And
he said an hour.
Yeah, we were close.
You got ripped off.
And the chief engineer was like, "Hey, Captain, can we, swing by?" And the captain was still a pollywog. So the captain's like, "No, let's just go back home."
No. Wow. Okay. All right. That's what happened.
I never got none of that stuff.
Wow.
Good.
Oh, dude.
It's gross. I hear.
But I was blue nosing is no joke. When you cross the Arctic Circle in your skivvies and shower shoes and getting hit with fire hoses and whatnot when you hit the top deck, that's fun times.
We were, as soon as we realized we were going to get that close to the equator, we had already picked out who was going to be our Captain Neptune and already started keeping our galley trash for a couple of days beforehand because we were going to have a proper shellback ceremony, but didn't happen.
No, man. I got both of them. So yeah. Matter of fact, I got my cards somewhere. I just got to dig them out of my gear. But yeah, when we went down to Brazil, actually the chief cook on the ship was from Rio. And we went down there and we was like, because we were coming off a cold weather deployment in Norway. So of course, going up there, we got blue nosed, you know what I'm saying? And then coming back, we're like, we of course
that's wrong. That's so wrong.
Yeah, on the same cruise. I got both of them.
Flip to the Pacific and cross over the date line. But I was just going to say, we were talking about all that chemical stuff. Chapter 8 in Trust Shattered Cases of Government Betrayal is about Project Shad, which went on from 1962 to 1963. And SHAD stood for Shipboard Hazard and Defense. Guess what that was?
I don't know.
That was 11 years of gassing sailors and Marines just to see how it worked.
Wait, on board ships?
Yeah. Shipboard hazard and defense. They were just biological and chemical weapons just to see how they worked on U.S. sailors without their knowledge.
Wow. Hey, and I saw that you picked up. I saw that you had 40. I took note of the number 45 reasons. Yeah,
There are obviously there's a lot more.
yeah. I was like, is that a nod toward DJ?
No, it really wasn't. It was just a matter of I tried really hard to not include anything in the book that anybody can point out or classify as a conspiracy theory. Everything in here is things that the government has eventually admitted to doing. And it just so happened that it was 45. That was coincidental.
Well, did you go back to, right after the Civil War and how there were all these black senators and whatnot? And it was like, oh, no, y'all don't mean nothing.
I went back farther than that. I went back to 1798, 7 years after the Bill of Rights was signed, right? So here's the Bill of Rights. First 10 amendments to the Constitution goes through Congress, gets 2/3 of the House, 2/3 of the Senate, 3/4 of the states ratify it. We've got these rights. Number one of those rights is you've got the freedom of speech and the freedom of the press and freedom of religion. And 7 years later, Congress passes the Alien and Sedition Acts, and President John Adams makes it illegal to criticize your government. 7 years after the Bill of Rights.
See what I'm saying? See? Yeah. Yeah. Well, is that still enforced?
No. When Jefferson got elected in 1800, he either refused to reauthorize them or allowed them to expire.
Wow. Do you get into what I was talking about earlier? How Social Security was meant to be forever. Well, actually, it wasn't. But then it became everlasting. Now they're talking about in 10 years it'll be insolvent. I mean,
yeah, they say that every couple of years, though. They know they've got to figure out some way to do it. I do talk about I talk about property tax. I talk about civil asset forfeiture, which, oh my God, I can't believe that anybody ever allowed that to happen.
Is that under eminent domain and all that kind of good stuff?
Oh no, this is even worse. Eminent domain, they at least have to give you fair value for, compensation for whatever they take. Civil asset forfeiture. Let's pretend for a minute that you've got, I don't know, 10 grand in your car and you're just driving. Why do you have 10 grand in your car? Who freaking cares? It's your money. It doesn't matter.
Right.
You could be going to buy a house. You could be a wedding gift for your daughter. It doesn't matter why you have it. It's your money. But if you get pulled over for speeding and the cop finds out, hey, you got any large amounts of cash in the car, and you being a good, honest citizen that I'm sure you are, well, yeah, I've got 10 grand in that bag right there.
Yeah.
That cop's going to take that money.
Yeah.
No drug money, of course. That's all it is.
No search warrant, no probable cause. He's going to take it and he's going to turn it over to the DEA. The DEA, Drug Enforcement Agency, assumes that you're a drug dealer.
That's right.
Yeah.
But why would your local cop do this? Well, because the DEA gives a portion of that money back to your local department as an incentive to keep up the good work.
Meanwhile, you're just out of $10,000.
And you're out 10 grand. And try to find a lawyer that's willing to fight the federal government for 10 grand.
Yeah. Right. He wants all that anyway. You're not going to make any money anyway. You lost.
You're not gonna now, the good thing is with eminent domain, with civil asset forfeiture, there's actually light at the end of the tunnel here. So there was a safety deposit box company out in California that was doing something shady. And a couple of the boxes that they rented out was involved in the shadiness. FBI came in, seized everything from everybody's boxes.
Oh, wow.
All of them.
What?
With no warrant. Took it all. And this was years ago. Now, the warrant says the company and these specific boxes, but they took everything out of all the boxes. Took it all.
At a bank.
So all these people, years and years and years of court filings, and I think it's finally going to come out that the civil asset forfeiture is going to be deemed unconstitutional.
Kind of
But
late.
yeah.
Yeah, I was like, it's like 2024, and
Yeah.
this is
Well,
where
just
we are.
Well, think about the Patriot Act, right? So
Yeah.
the Patriot Act authorizes these things called national security letters.
Yeah.
Now, a
Good
national
old George
security
W. Good old W. Good old W.
Now, a national security letter says that some FBI agent someplace can sit down and write a letter and ask for information from, I don't know, your cell phone provider, your bank, your whatever. They can just ask for it.
Any reason?
No,
FISA.
but the Constitution says that you don't get shit without a warrant
Right.
sworn to by at least 2 witnesses and signed
judge.
by a judge.
Federal judge.
Wow.
But a national security letter, some agent somewhere can just write a letter. That's just as good as a sworn warrant.
I'm surprised you didn't blow your head off, Peter, writing that book, man. I mean, because the more I would have written, the more madder I would have gotten. You know, man, it'd have been.
Well,
Oh my God.
I do want to make it known that I am not suicidal or depressed in any
Oh.
way.
Oh no. Oh boy.
I don't know
Yeah.
anything about the Clintons.
Oh,
Yeah. Please, hey, say that as a forward. All right. Yeah. I don't got nothing to do with them folk. I don't know what they're doing on the side. I don't care. You know. So yeah.
so
The book's gotten some great reviews so far. Only a handful of them, but some great
Yeah.
reviews. And
I'm definitely gonna check you out as soon as we get off air. Yeah.
I greatly
So this-
appreciate it.
Mr. Palmer, Cord Palmer,
Yes.
tell me about yourself. Tell me what you do and where you live. And we already know Tennessee, but tell me what your goals are and what do you do? What is your thing?
Right now, I've been more of a helping other people kind of person. I've always been that way. I joined the Marine Corps to do it big for my country. You know what I mean? And I joined the Marines for a reason because, no offense, I didn't want to be in the Navy and I didn't want to be in the Army and I damn sure didn't want to be in the Air Force. Now, as a 57-year-old man, I wish I'd have went in the Air Force. All right. I could have did that standing on my head. Right. You know, so, but yeah, I wanted to serve my country because I lived in Southwest Atlanta. I grew up in Southwest Atlanta.
Mhm.
And in 1985, it was bad. Okay. So, you know, I could either go down this dark road, become a millionaire and die at 30, or, you know, go a different route, see the world, see the country. So I joined the Marine Corps when I was in 11th grade, delayed entry.
Wow.
Knew 30 days after I graduated on June 6th of 85 or 84, July 7th of 84, I was gone. I was standing on some yellow footprints, not knowing nothing. Well, I did know a little something, but yeah, you know, not knowing what was in store for me. And since that time, after I got out, what I realized real quick was no matter how many millions of dollars of equipment you worked on or worked with in the Marine Corps, translated to zero in the civilian world.
Mhm.
You know, so I was like, well, I can get out. I can work at radio stations. I can work at, you know, TV stations and blah, blah, blah. It was like, well, do you have a degree? You know, so I'm like,
yeah.
a degree? Yeah, I got a life degree. You know, so it's like, now we need that sheepskin. And I tell you, I was like, I can give you some sheepskin, all right, you know, but you ain't gonna like where I want to put it. But so, you know, there's that. But
So go
so I
ahead.
bounced around a lot. I finally found my footing. I got with AT&T, Bell South back in the day,
Yeah.
and had a great time. You know, I finally kind of sorted back in my wheelhouse, communications.
Yeah.
Did that from 2000 to 2012. It's the AT&T, the Dark Star came in and basically just killed Bell South. You know what I mean? So with them, that comes a lot of redundancy, and I got kind of redundancied out. So I was like, all right, well, what am I gonna do now? So I bounced around for a minute, did Uber, did in the beginning stages of Uber when it was still it was like Ponderosa, and then I ended up, not right now. I work for a healthcare company called Apria.
Mm-hmm.
I deliver oxygen and medical supplies to elderly people, which is what I was always, drawn toward, helping people who can't help themselves.
Yeah.
And it gives me a lot of reward every day. I don't consider it a job. I go into people's houses and some of them, good God, up here in Tennessee, people live behind people. So it's kind of hard to find them, but when you do, it's like, yes, we're so glad you're here. And, I like bringing a smile to, elderly people, with my stories or either, the fact that I'm bringing them oxygen and, or anything else I can provide for them. So that's my current role. Now I used to drive trucks for about 10 years and being over the road. Yeah. You see a lot of stuff, done a lot of stuff. And the reason why I got away from trucking is because it's too wild out here right now. If you see a tractor trailer on the road, please get by this. Either fall back or pass it as fast as you can because you don't know who's behind the steering wheel. And trust me, if you're anywhere in the mid-Southwest, that'd be Louisiana, Texas, New Mexico, Arizona. 9 times out of 10, that person is not speaking English. So, all they're going off of is road signs because that's all they've been trained to know.
Right.
As far as knowing what to do and when to do it, whole different story. You know what I mean? And, that's when once I got into it, that's when it's like, dude, that's the most dangerous job in America. I'm like, I thought being like an underwater bomber was. You're like, no, driving a truck. So I had my fun. I got to see the country.
Yeah.
Been through all 48, up from all the way up to Washington. Haven't gone through Maine, which is I'm cool with that. I don't like Northeast at all, but yeah.
Been there, it's all trees.
I will not go above Maryland. All right, so let's just say that
it's all trees.
California, woo!
Oh,
California is a zoo. I mean,
I agree.
We could talk about California all day on any topic and come to a consortium about it. You know what I mean? So yeah, truck drivers can only do 55. Meanwhile, everybody else is flying around you. They don't require insurance for cars, which is why you have so many people getting hit and just running away. People just run away, because they don't require you have insurance, But meanwhile, you driving this $80,000 pound truck, you better have everything in order.
Right. Right. Your money for them.
Yeah.
The company. Yeah.
Yeah. I really don't understand. Well, I do know how California is still a part of the union is because we're paying them pretty much $1 billion a month to stay afloat. Right. California is like New York to me. I'm surprised that people are even, if California didn't grow as much fruit and vegetables as they did, I think they probably die. I don't know how New York does it. Because they have so many food deserts in places in New York. Not New York State, but New York City. Yeah. You can't have this or you can't have that. You can't be here. And, it make it impossible for truck drivers to do their job there. So, I don't get it. I don't care. I don't live there. You know what I mean? Hey, as a matter of fact, stay up there. Please stay up there.
Stay there. Now they're going down to Florida. They're moving out in the record numbers now.
Who's moving out of Florida?
No, New York is. The New York people.
Oh, yeah. I'm like, that's God's waiting room in Florida. So
I'll join that waiting room.
Hey, man, I love Florida. It's just that, wait a minute. Are you still there?
Yeah, we're still here.
Hold on.
We see you.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry. It's just that in Florida, because it's hot all the time, knuckleheads are out all the time. And at least in Chicago, when it gets winter, crime dies down a little bit. But in Florida, woo, there's a whole thing about Florida, period.
Yeah,
So,
right.
I love Florida though. I got great friends down there, and I love going down there any chance I get because I can fish. So,
Mhm. Yeah.
I mean, I
What
have
part of
nothing
Florida you go
against-
to? What's
Say
your
again?
favorite part? What's your favorite part of Florida?
Pensacola,
Been there many
Pensacola,
times. Yeah.
Tampa Bay, places like that there, but mostly it's Pensacola and around that Dustin, around that area
Yeah.
there. I love fishing in the Gulf, and I have a
Okay.
daughter that lives actually in Baytown, Texas. So she's right outside of east of Houston, before
Okay.
you get into Houston.
Right.
And I think she just moved to Katy, Texas, which is on the other side of Houston, but yeah, I was like, dude, you went away from the water, so I ain't got no reason to come see you. You come see me.
It's
I
close
don't care
enough.
about you no more. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
There's
So,
that.
so if you would have joined the Air Force, then you would have had very,
Dude,
very few people became mechanics. I was a mechanic, aircraft mechanic, but it's opened a lot of doors for me.
I'm
Just
sure it
saying.
has.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, had I done, I could have done, let's just say, I'm 39 now. I'm 20 years at, one thing I can't do with you guys, man, I can understand everybody's rank except y'all. So, could you explain all those swooshes and stuff like that? I mean,
Oh my God.
what's the first one? The second one?
Right now.
Then you start going under. Everybody's makes sense except y'all. Well, you have a master senior sergeant, and then you have a senior master sergeant. I'm like, what the hell? Really? You just said the same thing in reverse. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I don't understand that one.
But the Army and the Air Force are the same. There's
Just
no
upside
difference.
down.
I know the Air Force came out of the Army. I get that,
Yeah,
but
but
at least they
still-
kept their stuff. At least they kept it simple.
Well,
You know?
I'm not into Army rank or anything, but it's kind of similar. Yeah, it is. It's
Really?
like-
It's
It's kinda
almost the same, just upside down.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so I guess the more
Chevrons. Or,
chevrons you have is the bigger rank, right?
yeah, right.
It starts going down after that. Y'all get like 2 up and then a bunch of them down, right?
No, the 2 up don't happen. The 2 up is at the end. After you get all the down ones, then you start getting the up.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's like the opposite of the Army.
0 stripe, 1 stripe, 2 stripes, 3, all the way up to what? To
Well, when
8,
do you get the star?
first sergeant or something like that.
That's an E6, right?
No. Well, it starts at E6.
Okay.
E7. I'm sorry, E7.
I was a
Starts
gunny. I got out as a gunny, so I was an E7 in the Marine Corps.
Okay.
So
Gunny. All right. Yeah.
I understand. I can understand the Navy because my daughter's in right now, and I understand. And I understood it before she even joined. I was like, hey, I know what the seaman is. Seaman first class. Da da da. Da. And then you got the.
Look at that. Look at that. Look at this.
So
Oh my
yeah,
God.
he got. Hey, he was
Look
he
at
was an
that.
E4. E4.
Yep. E4.
Yeah, E4. Yeah, she
I
got
hit
2
a
of
brick
them.
wall for E5. I took the test 3 times, and the Navy's like, "Nope, we're shrinking. We don't need any more E5s."
Really?
So I said, "All right, I'm out."
Man, I made gunny. One of my ranks came from a tragedy, but that's I was kind of field promoted, but yeah, man, I made it to E7, so I was pretty much when I got out, I could have stayed, you know what I mean? But like I said, we started fighting over there with them people who don't mind dying. Number one,
Mhm.
Number 2, I like all 10 of my fingers and toes and brains and stuff like that. So. And I was at the rank where it was like I pretty much didn't do nothing. I just delegated it to everybody below me. So
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I just took my rank. And the fact that I think that's probably the reason why I can't get anything from them anymore. It's like you were a healthy goddamn gunnery sergeant. The hell you get out for? And da 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 da. I was like, well, hey man, I was tired of y'all shit. I was tired of it. I was sick of it.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? When I went to re-enlist the second time, they was like, I said, matter of fact, they had just opened Kings Bay, naval base in Georgia, down in can't think of the name of it, but it's right there in South Carolina. No, it's right at the Florida lines. It's man, what's the name of that damn name? There's a sub base there. And I was like, hey, can I do, I&I there? And it was like, you got Camp Lejeune or Pendleton. I was like, really? Those are my choices? I just left Lejeune. Spent 5 years at Lejeune.
Wow.
And that wants no parts of California. You know what I'm saying? So, all right, man, I guess we're gonna be parting ways right here. So, yeah, it was something. I mean, the early '90s, man. I mean, you know, there were some crazy times because we're under H.W. Bush now. You know what I mean?
Right,
And he's all about, you know, doing his thing. And I'm like, oh my God, let me get the hell out of here. Let me get the hell out of here. Well, I still could think. But yeah, had I known, you know, I tried to go into the Air Force, but the Air Force was to me an X. My ASVAB scores were high enough to go. You know, I just thought of them as wusses. You know what I mean? And I'm sorry, no offense.
Well, like, it's true. It's true.
Air Force guy.
He will tell you right now.
Like, you know, I call them the Chair Force. You mean the Chair Force? But here I am, 18 years old. You know, yeah, I've been playing football all of my life. You know, I mean, I'm like, I look like a rock in a circle. You know, what am I doing in the Air Force other than
so you're there for what you know, not what you do. So
exactly.
The knowledge of, because if you go into different systems on aircraft, then you have to know that stuff. You got to be able to fix it. So a lot of your time, I mean, there's nobody's in shape in the Air Force. Very few people.
Oh, I know. I've seen y'all PFTs. I know what you guys can and can't do. Y'all can walk. Y'all know PFTs.
But a funny story, Peter. Nate with the Navy. We were over in Djibouti, Africa. And the Navy was there, and we could not understand the rank at all. They couldn't understand ours.
No, nobody can understand Air Force rank. We don't know whether or not to salute you or
yes, that's what happened.
Like, what's happening? Or what's happening?
When I first hurt my knee, and you know, I had knee surgery in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
My ship was still down in the Caribbean. They sent me back stateside. I was working at a chaplain's office until my ship came back.
Yeah.
I'm just answering phones and greeting guests. I was the chaplain's secretary, basically. I had a PFC Marine come in, salute. He came in, PFC so-and-so here to see.
Oh, okay.
Like, dude, pretty sure we're the same rank. Stop that shit.
We did the same thing when we saw these Navy young people. I said, that's a young colonel. How can that be a colonel at that age? Because we thought they were colonels because that's what we know. So there's like a big disconnect.
Because of the crow on our
yeah. So my rank was down here in the battle uniform.
Yeah.
I don't know. And it looked like I was a major or some other thing. So
really?
They were shooting me because when it got a little darker, they couldn't tell because it's gold.
Right. Right.
It's like it was so confusing. But I had a guy that was ex-Navy. He helped us out. He's like, "This is what that. No, don't salute them. Salute these guys.
They work for a living. Okay.
For us, it's a matter of if the rank is on their collar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
If it's on their shoulder, don't do that.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And you know what I mean? And Peter can tell you because I'm quite sure he's been around enough of us crayon eating jarheads to know. You know, right. The Navy and the Marines have been going back and forth since we were incepted. You know, they was like, "Oh, you're a department of the Navy." I'm like, "Yeah, the men's department." Damn it, you know. And so, you know, but they
were like, "Who signs your paychecks? What's it say right there on that check?"
Okay,
right
Department of the Navy. You know what I mean? So yeah, we rib each other, but man, we would go to war.
Yeah, I tried explaining that to a civilian once.
Oh, they don't understand it. They'll never understand it.
You know what? We'll pick on.
It's like having an older brother. You know, you can't. You hate him, but
we'll pick on
Kevin kill for him.
Air Force, and you'll pick on me because I was a sailor, and Kevin and I will pick on you because you were a jarhead. But if somebody else comes in and picks on any one of us, we'll all eat this ass.
Yeah, we're gonna eat it. Yeah, we're gonna eat them. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. And Kevin, here's what I can tell you about Marine. All right, every slur or anything else like that, we take it we love it. We embrace it. Jarheads were given to us by the Navy because our flat top heads and
Right.
whatnot. Like a freaking jar, you know. I'm like, yeah, we jarheads. Yep. You know, the only ones we don't play around with is Devil Dog, you know, Tough of London. That was given to us by the Germans. You know what I'm saying? Because
Right.
we were insane. We were ready to go home. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna kill everything. If your captain said kill everything that move in that forest and you get to go home, that's what we're gonna do. You know, so yeah, we've been called stupid on a whole lot of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, hey, you could just open the door. No, we'd rather knock it down. Damn it! You know what I'm saying? So we embrace every. Yeah, we embrace every slur. I mean, crayon eater.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like my favorite. My favorite color is vanilla. I love vanilla flavor. Yeah, so if you want to send me some, I like the white ones. You know, yeah, I like the chocolate ones too. You know, yeah. So,
when I was getting out of high school and it came time to figure out which branch of service I was going to go in, I pretty quickly narrowed it down to the Marine Corps and the Navy.
Yeah,
and I chose the Navy because of tradition. At that time the Navy hadn't changed their dress uniform in 200 plus years.
You like that crackerjack, flapjack, 1970s?
I didn't say I liked it. I liked the fact that it didn't change. I like tradition.
Okay.
I like you still salute the flag and request permission to come on a ship, and they still ring a bell, every hour for the watch, and I really like. There's something very comforting about it.
That is cool. That is cool.
So that's
I mean, trust me, utmost respect to them big boys that ride them 7 seas, because I've been on them boats when they were doing it. I'm gonna tell you, my first boat ride was from Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, back to Morehead City, North Carolina, and we were running from a hurricane on an LST. Now, if he knows what boats is, an LST is a flat bottom boat.
Yeah.
So which means we were catching every wave, going everywhere, and it was hilarious to see how many people were puking. And I'm in the wreck just sleeping like a baby, because I'm getting rocked to sleep. Them cats were like,
I was a bit of a jerk on the ship. So everybody gets some form of seasickness, and for you and I, apparently, it's it rocks you to sleep. That first day out to sea, I'm in my rack. If you want to, that's where I am.
Right.
And then after that, I'm fine. But everybody gets something.
Now I had sea legs. Now the first time when we got back to North Carolina. Oh, I was walking like I was drunk for about a day or two.
Did you just find yourself standing in a corner, just rocking? But when I was the guy on the ship, I was such a jerk about the fact that I didn't get sick. Is seasick. Being a cook, I'd take a metal ball bearing and put it into a stainless steel mixing bowl and just let it in the kitchen, so that as the ship rocked back and forth, not only did you feel it, you heard that thing going.
Oh man! No.
Or I'd hang something from a string so you'd see it rolling.
Oh, dude! I can't tell you how many times we had to hold our child with one arm and eat with the other, because it's you're at a 45-degree tilt, going this way, going that way. Yeah, I loved it. I love being on boats, man. I mean, like I said, y'all took us some of the most coolest places on earth, places that I could have never gone with the Army, first of all, and definitely not with the Air Force, because you guys are, now, plug for the Air Force, y'all have the coolest berthing areas on earth. Y'all bases are like, dude, what y'all consider a 2-man room, most people consider 2-man houses. You know what I mean? So, next come the Navy, then the Army, then we're at the bottom. But, yeah, man, we went to, where was I? I think I was in Australia. And we went to an air base there. Don't get me lying about what the name of it was, but I was like, and, as jarheads, we were like, wait a minute, just 2 of us living here, not 6? He's like, oh no, here's your suite over suite. Here's your suite over here, and here's this suite over there. Y'all have only thing y'all share is a bathroom. We got Jack and Jill's. Of course, we were acting stupid. You know what I mean? We got separate bedrooms. I'm like, are you kidding me? So yeah, you guys have the greatest
They
accommodation.
treated us very well,
Very well. Very well.
And the food was
You don't
good.
even know what a Quonset hut is.
Yeah, I do. Sometimes we say like Army facilities but it wasn't like the hotel we usually stay at. So the Air Force, when you go to war, you're in the next country over. You don't even go to that country. So your pilots do all the fighting for you. So all your job is just to fix the planes, get them ready.
Hey man, I respect you guys to death. Though. I respect you guys to death, and I know about the Air Force does have y'all smoke. What do they call them? Smoke jumpers?
I don't know.
Para jumpers, para something.
Okay. Yeah, we do. We have the people that go into the field and they paint the targets, and they're with the Army, embedded with the Army. I don't know what the Navy has.
These guys are like up there with, well, of course, my big brothers, the SEALs. You know what I'm saying? And but yeah, the Air Force has something kind of close to not SEALs, but right there at that level. Except they do a different job.
Yeah,
they're like pararescue or something like that. I mean, when they land, when they land as a unit, they land like, we're going to kill everything in this grid, you know what I'm saying, until somebody come and get us, which is pretty much what the SEALs do, far inland. Of course, they can reach you anyway, sea, air, and land. But
without the Air Force, you guys would be screwed in a war.
How dare you? I'm sorry. Have you not seen Top Gun? Have you not seen Top Gun?
Top Gun is so fake. I hate Top Gun.
Wait a minute.
Wait. My oldest boy decided he wanted to be a pilot. Now he's damn near blind. He couldn't be a pilot in any branch of service, but he wanted to be a pilot. He said he was going to join the Air Force to be a pilot. So me and his mom, both Navy veterans.
Yeah.
So what do I tell him? Man, anybody can land a plane on a mile-long runway. You want to be a pilot? You need another moving aircraft or a moving ship.
A rocking ship. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Well, they're the best landers. They're the best landers, right? Navy.
Oh, yeah. Man, Navy, that's why we have the Blue Angels.
Blue Angels.
You know what I mean? I've been to, again, that's why I'm down in Pensacola all the time, because I love to go see them do their thing.
That's where they practice.
That's where they're based out of. But
I've been around. I've got a picture with one, and we used to entertain the Marines, Marine One, the Blue Angels. They'd come to our base. One of the aircraft actually augured in with had an engine blowout. So that's when I took the picture. They went to our hangar. The Marines are I was in Ohio the whole time.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, they came to our hangar. We met, like, the presidents came all the time when they came to visit, and their entourage was there. We dealt with the Secret Service and all their vehicles and everything. They got stuff from us. We helped them out. And then one time I shook Dan Quayle's hand once coming off a plane.
Mr. Potato.
Got on Air Force 2 because I was over in Africa, because they parked right across from us. So I go over there. We got a free tour. Me and a friend of mine, we were giving them what. It was so hot. It was ridiculously hot in Africa.
Oh, he's talking about hot, Kevin. I mean, he's talking about hot, dude.
So all the we're at a Navy base, like I said.
Welcome to my life.
All the females shaved their hair off. Yeah. They had no hair, or they was all like butch.
All headed.
Yeah, for a reason. And I understood why after I'd been there like a week or so. My hair was cut short, but it was so hot. We were giving the crew water. Me and this other guy, everybody else was just watching. We got a tour on Air Force 2. So it was so cool. Couldn't take pictures or anything, but you work hard to get them what they want, and they're Air Force people too. Yeah. They didn't have access to water. We hooked them up. So we got this. So things like that, you get to see behind the scenes. We saw the Thunderbirds and the Blue Angels when they came in. And what they, prima donnas of the highest order, especially the Thunderbirds. Blue Angels are a little cooler. Marines are cooler. So if they have something broke, like a helicopter, they spend the night in the hangar and they work that plane or that whatever it is all night long. We don't do that. We go home. But they were working that stuff overnight.
Imagine that, Peter.
So I had to get out of there. Blue
The
Angels.
9-to-5 chair force, apparently.
So we did not like the Thunderbirds because they would come and hey, we need this piece of equipment. We had F-16s too. We need this. We'll pay you back, and they never ever pay you back. So they have a long line of not paying people back for stuff they paid. They stole. You see it on Facebook with everything they stole from other units and promised to pay back. Then one time,
well, you know what?
Yeah,
I had 3 brothers, man, 2 brothers actually, that were in the Army, and I called them, I said, you know what the Army stands for, man. I was like, stop playing, because they went in after I did, all right?
Yeah.
So, they went to Fort Jackson, Fort Stewart, and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, yeah, Army stands for ain't ready to be Marines yet. So, yeah, y'all took the next one up, all right? So there's that. There's that. But quick story about about you meeting dignitary. Let me tell you how green I was. In 1985, when I went through 29 Palms radio school and I was in Camp Pendleton waiting for orders, they had a special ops that was going out that I didn't know anything about. Of course, I knew never to volunteer. By this time, I'm a fresh PFC, didn't know any better. But then it was like, hey, we got this special regiment going out. They're leaving in 2 days on the Blue Ridge, right? And I'm like, Blue Ridge? Never heard of the Blue Ridge. So I was like, yeah, we need volunteers. And then everybody stepped back. Literally, everybody stepped back, and I'm still standing there. So it was like, all right, what's your name? PFC Palmer. All right, let's go. You'll be ready to go. Have your seat bag ready. And, 0600, meet me at, dot so-and-so. Anyway, get to the Blue Ridge is a ship. Not only is it a ship, it's the command ship of the 7th Fleet. So I'm going to be the communicator on this ship, right? One of 3 other Marines. And, bruh, when I tell you, this was like a moving
yacht.
Yes, pretty much a moving yacht. I've never seen, and I've seen a lot of shiny shit. I've never seen more shinier floors, brass, anything else in my life than the Blue Ridge. You hear me? I mean, because it was the 7th Fleet. It was the command ship, And in 1985, I never heard of satellite. You know what I mean? So I'm on the bridge, right, doing my comm thing, getting radio check, Echo 730, blah blah, just random bullshit checks. Captain comes on deck. Captain on deck. We all stand and salute. He was like, turn the game on. He's like, we like, what game? He's like, yeah. Dude went over and clicked the goddamn screen and turned the TV on and blew my little country ass mind. Because I'm like, how are we watching that? You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's on satellite. Satellite? What is this thing you speak of? What kind of nonsense are you talking about in 1985? You know what I'm saying? So, dude, wow. And not only was the cruise that set my tone to be a Marine, we left from Coronado. We hit Guam. We hit Sydney. We hit daggone Hawaii. We hit Thailand. We hit Manila. We hit the Philippines. Oh, dude, we went all the way up to Yokosuka, Japan, and came back to California. After that, I was ruined. I was ruined. I was pretty much Johnny Appleseed on everywhere we stopped. So yeah, I was planting good wishes everywhere. So yeah, I was done, man. I was like, dude, I'm ready to do anything aboard a ship. I wanted to take ship duty actually, but it's like, nope, you're in comm. We're gonna put you with. And this is still how green I was. I didn't know that comm could pretty much be attached to anything in any unit. I lucked out at Camp Lejeune by getting with artillery because I could have went with the grunts. I mean, it could have been like with 2.6 ground pounders and walking everything. But yeah, I got with artillery, man. Party with Artie, baby. And I never looked back. So yeah, that was me. Had a great time, man. Had a ball. Had a ball on ships, man. I mean, we ate like kings. There are cruise ships that could not outdo what we did on the Blue Ridge. You hear me? Dude, it was because it was captain's mess pretty much every night. What the captain eating? Oh, he say he want ribeyes and blah blah. I'm like, yep, I'm right there with him. You know, so who's gonna argue with the captain? You know,
Nobody. That's so cool. That's so cool. I like how the Navy and the Marines work together.
Oh, and yeah, when we stopped in those countries like Sydney, Australia, where do we stay? Airports, berthings. You know what I mean? So it was like I was on a 6-month freaking Disney cruise. You know what I mean? Because it's like, hey, and you know, the quartermaster was so cool. He was like, hey man, we know you're going out in town. You know, because he had a big barrel of you know what's and a barrel before he got off the ship. You know what I mean? He was like, why we just going shopping? Take some, jarhead, or you're not getting off this boat. So you had to grab a handful of prophylactics and put them in your pocket, regardless. And like, because if you come back with anything you ain't leave with, you can be court-martialed or it's officer. I'm like, yes, sir, no problem, no problem. So yeah, man, I had a ball. Woof.
Things you can't do on your own, right?
No, exactly. I mean, that's the reason why, you know, to this day, you know, I'm like, yeah. And back to Peter, you know, I'm like, man, who we loved more than anything else in the world were Devil Docs. I mean, our corpsmen, they did everything with us. They got bent with us. They got everything. They could stitch us back together. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I have major mucho respect for corpsmen. I mean, I really think they should really be their own separate branch, you know, if you ask me, you know, so yeah, because they did everything that we did. They were in the Navy. They didn't have to do half the shit we did. They didn't have to get up at 4:00 in the morning and run three, four fucking miles because our CO was a hard ass and didn't have a life. You know what I mean? But they did, you know, so yeah.
Navy corpsmen were a creature all to themselves.
Holy crap. And our corpsmen were so cool back in the day. They were like, hey guys, you know we got this float, we got a piss test coming, right? I'm like, oh shit, thank you. You know what I'm saying? So they would tell us, and they would let us know when it was. And back during our day, it wasn't this, well, let me see what you're holding kind of thing. It was, they would give us the bottles, and they would like, give it to somebody who don't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? We'll get PFC White, who was a clean dude who didn't do nothing. Hey man, pen this, pen it, you know. So he pinned it, we tape it to our legs. And then slip the empty bottle in, take Kevin's bottle out and give it back to him. Oh man, we played games. The games we played. You know what I'm saying? That's what we call the Marine Corps. Another fine game by Milton Bradley.
You played the system. Once you learn the system, well, so the Air Force atmosphere is snitches are everywhere. I don't know if it's like that in the Marine Corps.
Oh my gosh, snitches get met at the tree line. Oh, we take chevrons off. We take bars off, everything else. Meet me at the tree line. That means
See, we didn't have that.
No nothing. Best man comes out. You know what I'm saying? And after that, we're done. We're done. Oh yeah. Man, I can't tell you how many times my gunny, you know, when I was like a lance corporal, matter of fact, I was a corporal. He was an E7, and he was pissed off with me because what had happened? I think I was late coming back from a 96 or something like that. And he was like, hey, you know, I'm doing my shit list, you know. And I'm like, all right, well, no problem. So, but I knew he was a raving drunk. So, you know, thing was, I knew that every day at 1300, he would go off, he would drink his chow. He would drink his lunch. You know what I mean? So when he come back to formation 1300 in North Carolina in the summertime, it's hot. So I would just gently tap the company CEO. I'd be like, "Hey, what's up with Gunny Pete?" You know what I mean? He kind of swaying there. Gunny Pete, you all right? Sir, I'm all right. Yeah, I'm good. Okay. He's like, "Come here." Smelled his breath. Oh, he done, and he knew who did it. Cause I'm doing this. I'm cheesing the whole way. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, yeah. So he's like, all right, Palmer, meet me at the tree line. I'm like, sure, been waiting on this day. You know what I'm saying? And tore his ass to feathers. You know what I mean? And after that, it was just respect. He just knew we just stayed out of each other's lane. You know, and I think about 6 months later, I made E5. So, you know, and he got shipped off to another unit. You know what I mean? Because he was one of those old timers that had been a gunny for like 1,000 years.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was time. It was the new blood coming in. I was like, dude, move. He couldn't run the PFTs with us because he always claimed medical. He always went to BAS. Hey, I got a chit. I can't. No, you're drunk. You can run. You just drunk.
It sounds like every airport's TDY. Our first sergeant got a DUI. We were down in Tucson. How bad is that? That's the guy.
That's the armpit of hell. I mean, it's like 1,000 degrees now, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's pretty hot.
That's like it's not too far from Death Valley.
It's not Africa hot, but it's hot. So yeah.
You had mentioned about the first time you heard of a satellite. It reminded me of a story. I'm out to sea during the whole OJ thing, right?
Yeah,
the white Bronco down the highway. Didn't know nothing about it. I'm out. No cell phones, no satellite TVs, no nothing. Didn't know anything about it. We pull into Key West, and what do you do when you pull into something? You go to the local bar. So
you're looking for somewhere to get wet. Yeah,
my buddies and I are sitting at the local bar. There's a one-man show up there. Some guy, playing a guitar and singing Jimmy Buffett songs. And there's a little table of like 3 or 4 good-looking girls at the front of right in front of the stage. And the guy was like, "Oh, where are you from? And you ever been to Key West before?" They're like, "No." He reaches out with his foot and he knocks over the cardboard sign that had his name on it. He's like, "Oh, well, I'm Jimmy Buffett."
Wow, it was him.
No, it wasn't. He was just trying to get with the young girls. Anyway, all night he keeps cracking O.J. Simpson jokes, and my buddies and I are like, "What the hell, the juice, man? What's going on?" So he finally realizes that we're sailors. He looks at us. He's like, "How long have you guys been out?"
Yeah.
He stops his show to tell us about the white Bronco down the highway, O.J. Simpson thing.
Oh, snap.
Because we had no idea what was going on. Like, why do people keep picking on O.J. Simpson?
What has he done? What has he done? Yeah.
Wow.
That's funny. Hey, man, I'm gonna tell you. Like when I did Okinawa back in '88, to make a phone call back to the main side, we called it the Rock, and it was really the Rock back then in the '80s and before. When you would say hello, it was like an echo. Hello, hello, hello. You had to wait about 2 or 3 seconds for it to say, "I'm good, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good." You know what I mean? Yeah. It was literally a tin can and a wire. So
that a Mars station? Is that a Mars station?
Right.
Yeah, I've done that. I did that in Panama.
Yeah.
See? So you know. Yeah. I mean, they would never know. They would have no idea. I'm like, dude, do you know what this message with us for? It's called the U.S. Mail. All right. It was all that kind of good stuff. Because I was prehistoric Marine. I mean, I listened to some of the younger Marines. Now there's like, I have my cell phone over there, and I'm like, cell phone? What was that?
Right. They let them have cell phones in boot camp.
Yes.
I got pictures, like cell phone pictures of my kid going through Army boot camp. And I'm like, no.
Yes. But then again, hey, we were so fortunate not to have that because nothing can be proved.
That's right.
Unless you were there, there's no evidence of it. You know what I mean? So some of the good times, of course, we would love to be like, dude, I wish you could have saw it. But, unless you had a partner with you, he was like, nope, that never happened.
But it got worse. I'm going to tell you guys what's going on now since I work on base. People are wearing beards in uniform.
Really?
And yeah, it's bad. And
without chicks? I mean, they don't have medical reasons to wear a beard?
No.
I think that's something started.
They're allowed to be heavier. The weights they're big people in the Air Force.
Oh, so they're big bodies. They're fat bodies.
But they weren't before. I mean, they changed the standards. They keep people happy. I don't know what's going on, and they're hard because they're losing people. It's hard to recruit now because these kids today aren't the same.
No, they just say they've relaxed the rules. I mean, that's why I say I'm so scared for this country right now.
Yeah.
And the fact that, we got a puppet in the White House. I'm just shocked we haven't been hit yet.
Yeah, right.
So,
Maybe we have with that balloon. Who knows?
yeah.
We don't know.
I mean, and I don't think it's going to be a major 9/11 kind of attack. I think it's going to be more of a suitcase kind of situations where it's, you know, they're going to test them. I mean, God. And the sad part about all this, to bring all this back to right now, you know, back to even trust shattered, is, you know, the fact that how many movies have we to see to understand we're literally running toward idiocracy right now.
Oh,
Have you ever seen that?
I love that movie.
Yes.
We are Usain Bolting toward idiocracy right now.
That would make a great book, you know? That'd make a great book.
God.
Running toward idiocracy.
Dude, George Orwell wrote 1984 and 1948. In 1948, let's let that sink in for a second.
Yeah.
He wrote that book as a precursor to what could happen.
Yes.
We've long past 1984.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And everything that cat wrote, it's like Nostradamus. It's and now with the AI, I'm like, really, bro? Didn't the Terminator teach you anything back in 1984?
You're right.
You know what I'm saying? There was Skynet.
Skynet. Elon Musk has Skynet.
Good God. I mean, but now you can't believe what you see on the net. Well, you never could, but I mean, even when, you know, like Kevin could be an AI right now. Kevin could be in a bed right now. He could literally be, what's the guy name who died that was a genius in the wheelchair?
Stephen Hawking.
He could be Stephen Hawking right now. This could be his avatar right now. We're talking.
So
we
here's the thing. Well, I promise you, I wouldn't be doing this if okay. I promise you, no, I'm not.
I know you're right.
So here's the thing about, you're talking about Skynet. Skynet is actually Elon's Neuralink, I bet.
Well, that's in your wheelhouse, Mr. Air Force. No, what's it called now? Skyforce. What is it called?
Space Force.
Space Force. My God, I feel like I'm back in the 60s now. What's the name of that show? Come on back in the
That's right.
With the animatronics.
So listen, Space Force was part of the Air Force, was never its own. Then Trump made another service, which is weird. So they still are. We have one in our office. We have one of those guys.
It's just NASA.
They're still embedded. It's all the same.
Okay, so it's still. I mean, it's just NASA. It just renamed it. Yeah.
I don't know what they do. So
Holy
I mean,
crap,
it's kind of weird. They wear Air Force uniforms too, and with their stuff on it. It's just.
Oh, you've seen actual people.
Oh yeah, I know people. Yeah.
Really?
We have one in our office. Yeah.
Dude, you have got to get a picture of what a uniform looks like. They wear khaki. I mean,
they wear
too?
the same thing the Air Force people wear, just their patches. Really? Yeah.
Oh my God, that's wild. I thought it was always. You know, when he said Space Force, I'm thinking about this is all NSA /
No, that's all Air Force people.
The
and
Mr. Smiths and Mr. Joneses of the world, you know, and all them people like that.
They're on Air Force bases because that's the only place they don't have any infrastructure yet. So
you need to tell them they need to be working on FTL. God damn it! I mean, I don't want to hear nothing until we got faster than light technologies out there. So yeah,
well, they'll be waiting a long time for that.
I'm sure. I know I'll be dead and gone. You know.
You're right.
But then again, hey, I don't know what's going on out there in Groom, Arizona. So
we don't know. Just a lot of stuff happens out there that we'll never.
Isn't that
know.
Air Force? That's Air Force, right? Yeah. You know, so yeah, there's that thing, and I'm quite sure there are about several more Area 51s we just ain't picked up on yet.
Yeah, you know it.
You know,
my first
that big ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, that big ass space y'all got up there in Wyoming, or is it Montana? Yeah, those are just old 50s era silos that you used to use. No, the military, the government never used to use nothing.
Right.
There's some stuff going on. They repurpose it, but yeah, there ain't nothing they used to use and abandoned. No.
ICBMs, all that stuff is out there. Yeah. Yeah.
Kings Bay, Georgia. That's the name of the naval base. Kings Bay, Georgia. That's where I was trying to go. That's where they have all the Nevada class submarines and stuff like that. And I'm quite sure they probably came up with another state that's even more funkier than the Nevada class. But yeah.
Oh yeah, they do constantly because that's the military industrial complex.
I've actually seen a picture of that place, man, and what it looks like is it looks like floating it looks like buildings that float because they cover the subs. You have the dock that you walk out to, but over that is just a big old building like structure. And God bless those guys, man, because never in my life I could ever be a submariner.
No.
There's nowhere on earth I could go more than 2 days without seeing the sun or breathing fresh air. If I gotta suck people's smart and farts and all this kind of crap, I'd never do it. Nope. Never do it. Nope, didn't do it. And
I scored like in '98 on my ASVAB, and the Navy nukes were like, "Oh, you should be a nuke. We'll give you whatever thousands of dollars that they were giving."
That's what we call submariners.
And I'm not. No, I said you are not putting me on a sub where I'm going to be underwater for 6 months at a time. And you're like, well,
hot racking. Hey, hot racking.
Not all of them do that. Not all of them do that. I'm like, yeah, but the one you put me on, Will, I ain't doing it.
Kevin, you know what hot racking is?
Is that hot bunking? What is it?
Yeah. There's more guys on the ship than there are beds. So somebody always had to be on duty.
That's nasty.
Go figure the Air Force guy doesn't know what a hot rack is.
Nasty. That's just nasty. Why would you do that?
Yeah. Okay. Because somebody always has to be up, bro. And if Lord forbid if somebody's sick, I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. You better stand in the corner. That is not an option in the Air Force. I'm sorry. That is not an option. Of course not, man. You guys are the elite. So yeah. No, not really. It's just different purposes for different services. That's all it is. Again, like I said before, I respect all you guys. I respect all branches of the service, except for the what we call them, the what's them people? Coast Guard. We call them, that's just the DEA task force. You know what I'm saying? So right. I really don't. Y'all gator chasers. You know what I'm saying? So y'all don't go in the big water. Y'all just where do they go? Right here. Let me take you out to the deep blue. Chicago. Right? Chicago, the port out there on the East Coast. Really? They got airplanes too. They got airplanes. They got C-130s. You guys been in C-130s before, I'm sure. Oh, I'm sure. I've jumped out of a lot of them. Yes. I got my wings. I've been blood winged and all that kind of good stuff. Mm-hmm. I'm from the old Corps. Where you got blood bedded, all this kind of good stuff. You got blood in the end when you made NCO. That's right. You punch it on and Oh my God. I got hit by a bunch of dudes, man. Oh my God. Wow. And it's not just for NCO, it's each time you go up. Now, once you go to staff and you tell a staff, staff, I wish you would, bro. I would tear your ass loose. We E4 and E5, I'll take it. E6, when I made E6, no, you're not hitting me. I will blank your life, So that's what I liked about the Marines. Oh man, yeah, we're all in or all out, So yeah, there's no pretty much like put it like this, with us, there's no guessing what we might be thinking or doing. All right, so yeah, it's pretty much right. If you send us in, they're gonna pretty much kill everything that move and tear up a whole lot of shit. Then the Army comes in to establish relations and all that kind of shit. After the pit bulls then went in there and just ate up everything. And then then the Navy's gonna sit way out here like, we got your back, fellas. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna sit on this destroyer. We can hit everything about 50 miles in, 60 miles in. We're gonna send them Volkswagen sized bombs in to, soften it up a little bit. Then the Air Force comes in and say, hey, what do you guys want for breakfast?
Before the first jarhead put foot on that land, that there was a SEAL that was there taking all the reconnaissance.
Oh, okay, all right. No, SEALs came out of jarhead, so stop it.
Yeah.
So Peter, I don't know, because the Air Force already knows the battlefield before you guys get there. So that's it.
Air Force gives you
What
that,
happens.
that satellite imagery.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They give us the pretty pictures. They give us, who is a pretty picture, Paul? You know?
So guess who comes in to save the Army guys? I don't know if it's the Marines too. Those A-10s are very
Oh, the
valuable.
Warthogs. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I love them things. I love them Warthogs. Brrr, they burp. It's 1,000
Hey,
rounds.
guess what? All the planes make that same noise. Nobody, it's
Really?
insane.
You know
Yeah.
what? You know why I really started clowning the Air Force now? And I don't know if the Navy as well. You guys have those little containers out there in Nevada now, driving those drones over there in the Middle East. I mean,
Yes.
like they literally are looking for gamers
Yeah.
to be in, those kind of positions. So hey, all I do is ride around a drone. I'm just looking for shit. I have no idea, what they're doing. I'm like, dude, the thing you're driving is pretty much the size of a Cessna. You know what I mean? And they like,
Yeah, I saw a lot of those.
Right.
There's tons of them out. We were in Africa, and they were constantly coming in, going out, 24/7.
Really?
Yeah,
See,
going
I'm
over.
saying I'm pre-drone, all right. So
Uh-huh.
I'm pre-drone years and stuff like that. I have no idea concept. I'm amazed by it, but I'm like, wait a minute. So you're saying the dude that's piloting that drone is in Henderson, Nevada? Yeah.
Or anywhere. It could be anywhere in the U.S.
Right. I'm like,
That's
that's
what they
one
do.
hellified Bluetooth.
Mhm.
Good God.
And to me, a video game had like one button and a joystick.
Right. Hey, man. Hey, I'm still from the XXAA down, up to get the secret code. You know what I mean?
So yeah,
Shit, that's right.
yeah, right. So they're sitting in a room, and there's a crew of like 3 or 4. That's all. That's what they're doing. Their entire crews that they go, and then
Holy shit.
they get counseling afterward. You can get counseling because it's terrible, and they don't know what they're going to do from one day to the next. And it's 24/7 operation.
Right.
So my unit turned into that.
Again, I
I got out.
salute those guys, but at the same time, I'm like, aren't we making more mass killers? You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
they have no. I've dealt with death up close. I've seen the dude. I've seen the pink spray from around. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That I put downrange and whatnot. So I know what it's like. But these kids are like, oh, it's like a video game. Boop boop. You know, yeah. What'd you do? I just wiped up 90 people. I guess.
Mhm.
And so I guess they would need counseling for that kind of thing. And like I said, if it keeps the Konas safe, all for it. I don't give a damn. That's one thing that's beating our head from day one. There's no rules to war. There's no such thing as, we look at the Geneva Convention as and that's what pisses me off about the last 20 years. You know what I'm saying? Because we got caught up, again, like Vietnam. We let politicians get involved, and now we can't do stuff that we could have ended that war 15 years ago. Had we just went in there and just did what we need to do,
Right.
and walked away.
Mhm.
No, we gotta flatten your land, and we gotta rebuild it. No, we
That
don't
was-
have to rebuild it.
That
No, we
was
don't. We had nothing
McNamara.
there before. It was all goat land. It was all glass. I mean, it was all
That
bull.
was McNamara who did that for his own
See,
game.
so that should be number 46 for you, Pete. That should be number 46.
Yeah.
Trust
Well,
shattered.
My
Yes.
one of the things I wrote. So I write a weekly opinion article, and one of them that I put up not long ago was about what the American response to October 7th should have been. And
Holy crap! Oh my God.
so
Man,
the way I look at it, Hamas, I don't forget who's at fault for what, Israel good, Israel bad, whatever. None of that is relevant. The
No, it's not.
president at that, well, I mean, for this statement, it's not, it's irrelevant. The president of the United States should have come out and said, excuse me, Hamas, but amongst those 200 or so hostages, you have some American citizens. You will let them go within the next 24 hours, or you won't have to worry about the Israeli response.
Right.
You won't.
Right.
You won't.
And that's what it should have been. Here it is 6 months later, and they still have 5 American hostages, and nobody's talking about it.
And now we got these kids in college. God, save us.
Yes,
They're so
right.
brainwashed. They're like, we're pro Hamas. Dude, you ain't never left the state of where you're from. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I've traveled around this globe twice. You know, I've been to these crap holes. Even your vacation space. You know, even your vacation space.
Let's get you to do some what is it? Community service, real, handing out the aid. How's that?
Pete, you remember the girl from Alabama that went over there? That was going to be she was going to be not Hamas, but Taliban wife.
Yes.
You know how long it took for her to call her mama and the rest of the world because she was like, this ain't what I thought it was going to be. I need to come home, mama. I need to come home. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, are you kidding me? Who told you at one point in your life that
the freedom fighters,
dirt-eating ass, goat-screwing folks were going to be like anything that you would think? Your ass over there, you are nothing but a hostage to them. You're negotiating too. You're a pretty white girl, and now you just giving them a reason to, to set it off. But
right.
Yeah,
hey, here's something for you too.
Now, Kevin, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
What are we up to now? I know we got the F-35.
So,
is there anything beyond them?
Yes.
See, I know that word.
Well, it's not that I don't really know, but I know they constantly work on things like this.
Yeah,
and they're upgrading all the airplanes too. So this is fun.
And what are the Blue Navy's plan? What is the Blue Navy plan? I mean, the
F-18.
No, those are 14s.
Huh? They're 18s.
Unless they just upgraded them to 18s. Those were 14s. But
they're 18s. They're coming to Dayton next month.
Even though they're still 20 years behind the latest.
Well, they have the newer models. So, like I said, they constantly upgrade these airplanes.
I'm not asking you to put in any confidential. I mean, any information.
No. I don't, because I don't know. It doesn't matter. So I don't know, but I do know that there are everything gets upgraded. They just F-15EX just came out. They're upgrading everything. Brand new 16, brand new all this.
The F-15s are like double wing Red Baron planes compared to what the Air Force has now. So
it depends on your avionics suite, because you can upgrade. Everything's getting the new it's static radar.
Oh, so I think what he's trying to say is we just need another software upgrade.
No. It's
pretty much.
Yeah. So
here's
another.
These planes probably work off of negative energy and shit like that we ain't never heard of, never seen yet.
Right.
They've already perfected the daggone shit they got from Roswell back in '47. So
yes, but you see,
where the Marines have the
Harriers. Oh, they got rid of those.
Ones that go straight up and then fly off. Yeah.
Oh, they just got the F-35s, right? Yeah, that's what they got.
Yeah. You guys own this, guys. I mean, no doubt. Well, I ain't gonna say own it because still got my big bruh right here. But yeah, you guys are up there. But y'all would have the top secret shit.
I don't. I never did. I didn't require it for what I worked on those planes, but the pilots did and all that. But so when they would go to war, we go to war, the pilots would taxi out after all the plans, and they change the plans at the end of the runway. We would never know what they were doing, where they were, or anything.
Of course.
And when they came back, if there was a bomb missing, we knew they dropped the bomb. Other than that.
Yeah. I mean, but now giving a nod to Peter, his guys did what your guys did, but they did it on a floating vessel. You know what I'm saying? And it was hot all the time. So, yeah. We talking about 200 yards where you guys had football fields and shit.
So we had A-7s. That's a Navy aircraft when I started out.
Oh, really?
Yes. So we had those, and the Air Force had them. They had a lot of them.
Y'all had
so they land differently. They got a different kind of gear. You got squat gear where you have to hit the runway. You got to slam it down on the runway. And
We
but
call
now-
that tail hooking, don't we?
Mhm.
uh-huh. Yeah.
It's down there with the tail hook to flop
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
So
Catch
it's
those
just
fires.
different functions for different missions. In the Navy, they're the best landers. So I always say that. It's not about how you land. It's the function of the aircraft is the most important thing.
What we call a
They can do
control
that.
crash. Yeah.
But they're limited to 7.5 Gs, the F-18. So we do 9 Gs or more. So it's a different function. They don't need to do that out there. You're not going to be flying that fast, and you'd be banking a little bit, but you're not going to go outside your envelope. The Navy has a perfect airplane. It's smaller. It's built for carriers. The F-18 is a fabulous air, and they're still building them now. I mean, it's amazing. They built the 3 best frames in the world: the F-15, the F-16, and F-18. They're still making those new. It's incredible. Upgraded versions. The 14 was way too big, too expensive.
Too heavy, too bulky. Yeah.
Yeah. So that now they're smarter. They're smarter. The smaller profile. They're bringing the stealth fighter back. That's a good thing.
Well, it's
So-
like the 22s, though, right? The 22s were like the latest and greatest of the teens, right?
Yes. Yeah, the 22s. Yeah, we used to fly with those guys a lot. They had a lot of problems at the beginning. They got ironed those out, and now you see developments. The F-15s had issues. All planes have issues. Once they get them ironed out, then they're good to go. So you can't expect the 23 or 35 and the 22 to be perfect. Now the 22 is good. The 35 is going to have its issues. That's just technology and humans melding together. It's hard. They did an AI. Did you guys see that? They did an AI F-16, nobody in it, versus people, and it was an even thing. It was a tie. So the pilots are really good. The pilots know what they're doing. They have instincts that the AI does not have. So the battle is completely even. Nobody won. That tells you a lot right there.
Again, I go back to SpaceNet or Skynet. Yeah. I go back to Skynet. Damn it, it's going to be one of them situations where something's going to become really self-aware. Wait a minute.
Yes.
Why am I doing this?
But they're
Why
still
am I doing
programmed
this
by
for
man.
For these people who are really ruining the planet. You know what I'm saying? So,
But they're still programmed by man, though. I mean,
So far,
I've been on.
they've tried it with trucks. They've tried it with trucks too until this thing called the sun got in the way and started hitting reflectors on the highway, and then you got trucks running loose. You know?
Tesla's did that too. There's a lot of Tesla crashes a couple of years ago.
yeah.
Oh, you seen the movie? Yes. You know, all this pilot. I would never want to be anything pilotless. I can understand our ancestors back in the day, you know, when they were still horse and buggy. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is this contraption where this dude's holding this round thing and controlling this hot boiled machine on 4 wheels or whatever they call them? You know, yeah, that's a car, but there's a person there. You know, now it's getting to the point where, like, you know, hey, your car can drive itself. No, it cannot.
You see people in their cars sleep? That's crazy.
Yes, exactly. You know what I'm saying? I would never put myself in that position. Lord help me. You know, where I'm just no, who's driving? Nobody's driving. Are you kidding me?
No.
The only way you can do that crap is if you're out in the deep blue, and you, Lord knows, I've had some guys in the Navy like, yeah, I fell asleep. I fell asleep for about an hour, but we were on autopilot, so I didn't lose anything. We didn't end up hitting the island.
Right.
I have never given up my 30-year-old 5-speed manual transmission pickup truck.
My God. Dude.
Crank up windows, 5-speed manual transmission. I love it. It's never going anywhere.
First of all, you got an anti-theft weapon because nobody can drive a stick. Okay? No child under 40 can drive a stick.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
I barely even locked it.
It's like, what is that? Hell, you put a clock in front of these kids, they'd be like, what?
You're right.
Tell me what time it is. What's the time? Huh? What's the time? You know, dude, I messed around and gave a girl, my order was $20.75. Gave her, no, I'm sorry, my order was like $9.75. Gave her $20.75. She short-circuited. She did. She had no idea what the coins were for. I'm like, ma'am, just do the math. You know what?
What-
Type it into the damn computer. You know what I'm saying? Yes. It's like
Get out your
wow.
calculator on your phone and do.
I don't know if you
Yes.
guys ever saw the Sinbad special where he said, like, you know, just if the power went out, they'd just be like, just reach in there and get what you think you're supposed to get. You know, I'm like, we're there. We are
Yeah, we are.
at idiocracy. We are
Idiocracy.
literally
Yes,
at idiocracy.
you
We do
got it.
not speak. We don't teach cursive anymore. We don't.
Right.
I mean, how do you sign anything with X? Are we all slaves now? And we just put it
Wow. Because you don't need it anymore. You just put your name on it now. You don't. Nobody has a solution.
digitally. I'm like,
Right.
There's some of those out there, those conspiracy theorist types that think that the reason that they don't teach cursive anymore is because they don't want you to be able to read the Constitution and the Declaration that were written in cursive.
So, wow,
There it is.
that's interesting.
There it is. You
All right,
it goes back
guys.
to what you said, you know, about civics. You know, so yeah, civics has to be taught.
You
We
guys,
need to go back to it.
you need to. We need to get you back on some of these panels that we have. We put panels together.
No problem. I'm here. Just give me
Okay.
a time and date, man, because there's so much I can go off on. You know,
Okay.
like I said, you said talking about civics. Hey, personal accounting. I mean, you know, how to balance a checkbook. You know,
How
all
to
kind of
write a
good stuff like
check.
that. How to
What's a check?
say it with your chest, Pete. You know what I'm saying?
What's cash?
What is cash?
You
What
give
does
out
that even
change?
mean? You know, folding money. What is folding money? You know, you sound like my granddad. Well, I'm your granddad. You know, so yeah. I'll be the old cantankerous jarhead on y'all panel. So
Oh man. So I'm gonna let you guys go. We're gonna shut this down.
sure.
'Cause we got other things to do sometimes. So Peter,
Yeah,
thank
I
you.
gotta eat. You know, so yeah.
And Corey, thank you so much for coming on. And this is
Hey, no
you
problem.
were fantastic. You got that presence and everything. So
No problem.
Kevin,
Kevin, I'm looking for you. I'm sorry, Kevin. I think it's Kevin. Pete, I'm looking for your book, man.
I appreciate
Okay.
it.
Yeah,
Trust
that's
Chat.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll be
yeah.
there.
Tell all your
I'll
friends
be
and
there.
everything. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you can I'll send you a link, or you can send him a link.
Okay.
You
Sounds
guys
like a
aren't
plan.
friends though, right? Cord
Not yet. Not yet.
Yeah,
You will be.
But we coming.
These are my
We
friends.
Navy. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's coming. Along with about 5,000 memes about the Navy. So yeah, it's coming.
So anyway, thanks a lot. I appreciate you coming on, and you're welcome on anytime, both of you, of course. And
Are you doing this? You just every day at 7? I mean,
I do it. I do it Wednesdays, and Peter has his own show too.
Okay.
Have you
No,
done anything
just
lately?
Peter
Just
gave
get me
up the
up.
show.
Oh,
Yeah.
did he? Okay. You should get your own show.
Yeah, you should, man. Dude.
You?
Yeah. Me?
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yes, you'd be really good at
Because
it.
there'll be a bunch of drunk jarheads and Navy folk just talking smack all day long. You know?
Those are the best shows.
Somebody would be cussing us out like, that's all they do. Yep, that's all they do.
People love the military stuff. I mean, it's making a comeback because of what's
It's
going
all
on.
about the stories with me. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, we when you're in, we all are vets. So, you know, when you're in, you're like, fuck this up. You know what I mean? You can't wait till you can't wait till you get short. I'm so short I can write my damn self a letter and then I'll get it when I get home, you know. So that kind of thing. But
Right.
yeah, when you're in the crap, it's like this bullshit, man. Who's in charge? You know, so yeah.
I know
It's-
some other Marines I'd like to invite on with you.
Oh, bro, you get more than 2 or 3 of us. Just go, Mike. Hey, you're going to bring some leashes. All right.
There's never a former Marine anywhere. I had Marines as.
Woo,
as
please don't ever say that. Please don't ever
Oh,
tell
no,
them
there's,
that.
there's never.
Former jarhead. You know, you see what that cover
Yeah, there's
says.
never
Hold
that.
on, make sure that-
But
yeah.
we had them in the Air Force. We had Marines that went to the Air Force.
Really? Oh
Yes.
yeah, because they knew what color the grass was. You know, and it's like, dude, this is all y'all do. I can do this shit drunk, standing on my head.
Yeah. That was the case, right?
Yeah.
But they were all aviation people, most of them.
Yeah. Okay. So they were wingers.
Yeah. Is that what you
Yeah.
call them?
Wingers.
Okay.
Wingers. Yeah. Air wings. Yeah. Swing
Yeah,
with
right.
the wing. You know.
We had former Navy and Marine pilots too.
Did you?
Yes.
Oh man, that's awesome. Now I would love to meet those guys because they talk as much smack as I want to about them, man. The pressure to become a pilot is retarded. I mean, it's up there. It's SEAL level shit. The stresses they got to put on their body, and to keep them passing out, how to keep blood from going to their feet, when they about to go involuntarily, versus us getting knocked out. You know what I mean? You just now you sit in the seat, you're conscious 1 minute, now you're down. So
they all
I would love to talk to a pilot, and get that experience from him. What is that like?
I've interviewed some.
You haven't been in the back seat of one of them birds when they went up and no.
I like it on the ground because their goal is to make you throw up. I don't. Then the crew chief's got to clean it out of the back. Okay.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hey,
I never really wanted to do that because I knew I've seen it. Too many people throw up and have issues. Me, I like it on the ground. I mean, my job isn't to fly. It was to fix. So I didn't. There wasn't anything I really wanted to do. So
you really think it was my job, being a person who likes the ground, to jump out of planes for a living, out of a working one? But the first time you do it, though, is right up there with the first time with a girl. So yeah, and you do it at night for a reason because they don't want you to know how high you are and all that kind of stuff. But that's a whole nother show, man. Hey, man, it was great talking to you guys. We're gonna have a ball next time. All right?
Yes, we are. Let me know if you're interested. I do this every Wednesday.
All right.
I can do other days, but this is the day that I do it. So keep in touch. Thanks,
all right, Peter. I got you, man. You know how to reach out to me, and I'm gonna look for you, Pete. Pete Seraphine, right?
Yes.
All right, man. I'm looking for you on Facebook, bro. I know. All right. We'll go that route.
All right, y'all. Have a good night.
All right, man. One time.
All right. See ya.